Hey, what's up? It's me, Gazbot, coming to you with a production update for the Horror A4. This is production update number 6, where I continue on my journey after doing 100 days of making comics. The lighting looks crazy, I realize, I apologize. Where I'm working on my comic, which is called the Horror A4. I just adjusted a book while I'm in video because I have I don't want to call it an OCD, but I worked in retail for a long time, is really what I'm getting at. It's those retail reflexes that I can't shake. So anyway, did the 100 days of making comics, not finished my comic, but I put in that half hour each time being each day. Wow, I'm doing great. This sets the tone for this update, though. Went on a trip to Hawaii, so there's a couple days in the beginning and the end where I wasn't in Hawaii and got some work done, and then some in Hawaii where I just did hijinks. A little bit disjointed, as some of these videos have been lately, where I'm shooting inside, outside, you know, quietly, loudly, so I apologize for the fluctuations in volume and lighting. I'm looking into getting a new editing software that can maybe help me smooth out these transitions with the new way I've been shooting. As sort of like daily updates all strung together. When I just do one, I don't have to worry about matching it to other stuff. And I've been using Windows Media Maker, which is not the best. It's free and it's easy to figure out, but I'm having trouble with these newer problems. So anyway, that is my introduction. I filmed this at the very end, so the last thing you're going to see is a clip of me in the same area, this same time zone that I filmed 5 minutes ago. So you can deconstruct it, put it in order, like when people take apart Pulp Fiction or something like that, and, you know, this would be the second to last thing you'd see. What? Here it is! What's up? It's me, Gazbot, and this is the Horror A4 production. I can't remember the name of my own title. Production report, production update, production video. I know it's production something, update number 6. So here we go. Anyway, today is Friday morning, and yesterday I spent a good chunk of the day working on video, in particular my last update. And I've been doing this format where I take snippets each day and connect them together, but the problem is some of them are on my phone, some of them are on my video camera. I take other pictures and videos of other life stuff in between, and then have to kind of pull it all together, stitch together, edit it, and the volume and lighting fluctuate wildly. So I spent a lot of time working on that. I kind of like the effect, the sort of collage, the cornucopia effect I get, especially when interesting things happen that week, other than just, oh, I drew some more today. But it ends up being a lot of work. Like, I think my video was about a half hour, and I probably spent 2.5 hours putting it together, which is a lot of time. But when I think about it, well, if I was spending about a half hour a day for 7 days, it kind of evens out. But it is funny that part of the reason I went to the weekly schedule was to not have to worry about committing so much time to the videos, and as it turns out, I'm committing roughly the same amount of time. Similar to the way I'm working, not doing the half hour a day, but doing like 2 hours one day and then not any of the XA. It's all balancing out to basically doing almost the same amount of comic work and video work as if I was still doing 100 days of comics, which is not the worst thing in the world. So for my first day today, I did 2 hours on the horror. I was working on page, I think it's 20 again, or if not, it's 21. Finished up kind of everything. I'll throw it up in a second. The first panel I might revisit and redo. Panel 2 and 3 are pretty much done, and I put in most of the word balloons and some sound effects. I need more sound effects on the final splash panel. And the splash panel is done. It's a big thing of the horror crashing it. But I'm going to show you the first version was where I was sort of cleaning up for my thumbnail pose, and then I completely changed that. And I might go back and change it again. I'm just trying to find a good mix of a dynamic sort of... It's not the first shot of the horror, but it's the first, like, attack shot at the first shot since he rises up out of the ground, but I don't want it to be his like total ultimate hero shot, you know. So I'll throw up those two and crossfade right now. There we go. So like I said, it's sort of towards the end of the day, Friday. I also got a bunch of housework done, a little bit of client work. I did a pretty good job meeting all my levels. I think I might have missed 1 or 2, but the plan was sort of moving forward. Oh, I also did a video, which I had worked on yesterday, but I kind of finished up today, of a toy review, Chojin Sentai Jetman, Black Condor. This was the Super Sentai that didn't become Power Rangers. It was the one right before Zyuranger, which became Mighty Morphin, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, it's a cool design, and I got the figure, so I did a video review. This time I did it for Collection DX, which I've reviewed for before, but it's not my personal channel, but you can still find it below in the toy reviews, or I'll put a link in the show notes. I'm not going to bother putting up an annotation, because that takes forever. So I am leaving for Hawaii tomorrow. My plane leaves at like 7 in the morning, and I guess I'll update you from there. I hope I can get some work done, but I'm not really sure what I could do since most of what I'm working on now is digital. Like I said, maybe I'll do some writing revisions or something. Anyway, Hawaii ho!
We all strive to
sweet potato fries are okay.
Do you want to come to dinner? Come. You're welcome to our table, Bird. You know, Bird, you are the word. Treat yourself. I thought he was just going to dip his face right in there. Oh, come on.
It's ginger. Some sort of candied ginger. They expect me to eat it. No.
Saturday, first day in Hawaii. We are driving to La Jolla?
Lahaina.
Lahaina! It's a town here in Maui. We've not done much yet, except for check in, eat some expensive food, and go to Free Comic Book Day here at the only comic book store in Maui where I got a silver movie edition Power Rangers figure in the box, cheaper than on the internet.
Wow!
Yeah! Also met a local artist named Todd, something or other, and bought his comic.
Wow!
So I'm going to show you a few of those things in this segment.
Wow!
This was the crazy expensive limited vegetarian option, which is some kind of rice with, I don't know, nuts in it. This is, I think they called it vinegar water or something. It was pretty good. It wasn't as hot as it looks. Here for Free Comic Book Day, Maui Comics and Collectibles. It was the grand opening, and it's the only comic store on Maui. How nuts is that? It's very small, but it had a good selection of vintage toys, including Army Ants, which I had all but forgotten about, VR Troopers, Earthworm Jim, Double Dragon, etc. A better vintage selection than most comic stores, actually. And, of course, the Power Rangers silver/white movie Ranger figure, which I had been wanting for about a month randomly, and the fact that that was the one they had was crazy. This guy named Todd Bernardy, and he was doing Kukui Project sketch for me. That's a bizarre cat that I saw.
Hey, what's up? It's Gazbot, and this is the Horror A4 production update number...
Welcome to Maui. Boom, boom. Here we are, the water slide.
It's a recording, not a photo. What are these? Moths? Nope. Termites. They swarm all over the boardwalk area. It's not nice.
There were a lot of art galleries in downtown Lahaina. These pictures are not from those galleries. This is from sort of a mall nearby, but there's art galleries everywhere. Some you can take pictures at, some you can't. But I thought it was cool. They had a Theodore Giesel, Dr. Seuss exhibit in this one. I do have to admit, it's a pretty awesome view.
Well, it's day 2 here in Hawaii, being Sunday, and as you can see, I'm in full-on vacation mode. I have my sunglasses. I've got this robe we got from the hotel that doesn't really fit me. It's kind of small, but whatever. I got the resort behind me. I got the beach in front of me. Yesterday, no work on the horror. I think I'm probably not going to get much work on the horror at all done here. I did, however, go to Free Comic Book Day and the grand opening of the only comic book store here in Maui. It was a soft opening a couple months ago, so it already stood, but this was their grand opening. They had cake and everything. And it was cool to do that here in Hawaii and support for them a local shop. And they had 2 local artists there. One guy was selling his own personal book, and I bought a copy and he did a sketch for me. His first name was Todd, I forget his last name. But that was kind of cool and inspiring that, you know, it wasn't exactly the sort of book I would do, but it was still, he had finished writing and drawing several issues and had a trade, and it's like, this guy didn't even have a comic shop to sell it at, and he did it, you know. And then the other guy was selling prints and things like that, and had done a piece on Kukui, which I was excited about because that's a Japanese android hero that supposedly is big here in Japan, so I was going to be bummed if I didn't see any Kukui at all, but I did. And I also bought myself a silver Ranger figure, which I showed you yesterday. You already knew about that. Haha. So today we're going to go to the beach, and that bird agrees, so let's go. It's Sunday. I'm drinking Starbucks. What perfect timing. And I'm looking at toys at Target in Hawaii. Day three. Today is Monday, and it's the last day of our not work-related activity things happening. So yesterday, after going to the beach and swimming twice and going to the fancy pool with the water slide, we then went to look for things to do. Outside of here, we rented a car, couldn't really find much. We went to Target, got some excellent deals on Star Wars figures and a Power Rangers figure I couldn't find near home, as well as an additional for my friend. Here's those. Yeah, those Star Wars figures are $3 each. That's how much they cost when I was a kid, so that's pretty awesome. Meanwhile, we went to the sugar cane factory where they have tours, but it was closed, which was kind of bittersweet. It's like a thing to do, but it's like, do I really want to do that? I don't know. So instead, we went to see Avengers Age of Ultron. And that's what you do when you're in Hawaii. You go to Target and see Avengers Age of Ultron. But we did go swimming in the pool and in the beach and did all that stuff earlier in the day. Today, Q is having a spa day. So we just had a breakfast at a really expensive buffet that wasn't amazing. And now I am going to take the car and go out to try to have adventures, which will likely center around going to Salvation Armies looking for toys.
This was the movie theater, which I think might be the only multiplex on Maui as well, and it had a very late 80s, early 90s vibe to it, which made me feel like weirdly nostalgic and homesick for stuff that I used to see when I was a kid. So I took a couple pictures. Even the floor looked very like roller skating rink party. So yeah, it was that sort of gaudy nostalgic, I guess. And there's Age of Ultron, which is what we saw. Yo! First place I went to was Salvation Army. It was the nearest. It was a pretty decent one, but as usual, not much toy selection, which is really all I'm ever looking for, or cool shirts. Savers is a chain out there that is like a Goodwill or a Salvation Army. Again, decent, but didn't find anything. This Goodwill was tiny. Didn't even have a toy section. Had like a few stuffed animals, but I found this Power Ranger Zord, 99 cents. Toys R Us Express, only one on the island. Worst toy store I've ever been to. Had whole aisles that were empty, and what they had was double what it would normally cost.
It's the end of the day. Sunday. Peace out. Hello, all in few. It's a brand new day. The day is Tuesday, and this is the first official day of the trip, according to Q's work. So, while we're free to do what we want during the day today, later tonight we're going to have a work dinner, and things are going to get a little bit more structured. In the morning now, we're going to go, well, I just got a coffee. We're going to go get some Taco Bell for breakfast, as opposed to that not so great and horribly overpriced breakfast bar they have here at the hotel. We'll get some Taco Bell. But then we are going to go to a town which I cannot remember the name of, but I'll tell you later. It's like a little cowboy town. We're going to walk around there and I guess see the shops and do whatever. Yesterday, we went to a place called Monkey Pod, I think it was. It was a neat little restaurant, and it was a good mix. It was kind of expensive, but not insane expensive, and it had a good atmosphere and good food. So it was like, we went to 2 other restaurants already that were like way too expensive for kind of no reason, but this one kind of lived up to the hype a little bit. And yeah, I got some good thrift shopping, Goodwill stuff going, and I got that that robot, which I showed you a picture of before. I did some research. It is indeed Power Rangers / Super Sentai, and it is from Ninja Storm in like the early 2000s. So it's actually kind of old, and it's in pretty good shape, and not a super cheap piece either. So I'm all the extra happy that I got that for 99 cents. Woo! So anyway, I didn't work on the horror, obviously. However, yesterday while I was driving around the thrift stores, I did think about it a lot. And one of the things I was thinking about was a logo treatment. I've talked before how like I feel like I don't want to do a logo treatment until it's ready. But I didn't watch Kevin Cross's video, but I saw him say something about logo treatment like on the updates, and I'm like, oh yeah. So this just had my head going. And one idea I have that I haven't drawn out yet, and it might not work, but the military calls it like the threat level Alpha 4, you know, subject Alpha 4, you know, and then colloquially, the people of the city and like the cops and stuff call it the horror, and then hence the horror rate 4. So I was thinking I could have some sort of official looking font, you know, with like the technical, this is subject level, you know, subject 27, you know, horror, man, I can't even remember the thing. Threat level Alpha 4, you know, kaiju subject or whatever, but then have it like spray painted over with like the horror, you know, as though it was like a warning sign that somebody defaced or something like that. I have to figure out the logistics. And I don't know if it'll work as a permanent logo. Maybe it'll just be good for like cover 1 or cover 2 or something. But the iconography of it appeals to me. So I'm going to try to mess around with something with that. And then I've also been thinking about issue 2, even though it's all written. I haven't sat down with the script and reread it, which is what I need to do if I want to make any revisions. And it's not something I want to do until I finish issue 1, but just as a way to keep kind of my mind working on it while I'm here. And I've been thinking a lot about certain scenes that I was never super thrilled with. Like, they worked, and I showed them to other people, and they didn't complain about them, but I've always thought, like, I could do that better somehow. So I've been kind of thinking about that kind of stuff. So even though I haven't been drawing, I have been working on the horror A4. Well, I'm here in Maui, where I'm leading a charmed life! That's awesome. It's still Tuesday. There's the corporate function going on over in this area. I'm supposed to have a name tag, but I don't. But I do have my Hawaiian shirt that I bought here. And, yeah, nothing much to report about the horror. I guess tonight we'll go on, and then tomorrow there's some kind of snorkeling adventure. So hopefully while I'm underwater, I'll have a revelation about monsters. Wednesday, it's midday. We're on our way out to eat. Previously, we went snorkeling off of a boat, and it was lovely. I didn't think it would be that great, because having gone scuba, but it was actually pretty awesome. We did it for a few hours. I basically stayed in the water because I felt kind of seasick in the boat prior and after going, and I often get seasick, but this time it was extra special because unlike the previous 10 or 20 times I've been on a boat and gotten seasick, I vomited. Oh boy, and it was severe. It was real. It was real vomit. I had to push past people, get to the railing, looked over, and there was a girl there who I sort of just met new, and I'm like, oh, I think I might, and it was a stream.
It is Thursday, and soon we'll be kayaking to Snorkel Town.
It's Thursday. It's rather windy. Everyone says it's cold and lots of waves at the beach. So I'm gonna go see if I can have some fun playing in the waves. I find tranquil beaches to be not as fun. So anyway, we went snorkeling and kayaking earlier today and saw turtles, sea turtles, like 2 seconds from us. Like I had to keep moving to get out of the way of them. But I was afraid to take my camera, even though it's waterproof, because I don't have a strap. No one in the water. I'm the only one in the water. We're gonna be wave punching, Street Fighter style, X-Men style, Capcom versus X-Men style. All right, here comes the Wolverine. Not so much. All right, up next, a sword you can. Are you ready? Here we go. Oh, sword! If I keep this up, I'm gonna lose the camera. Alright, see you later. Alright, one more attack. E-Honda, straight through. Hoi! Hoi! Yep. So, yeah, Thursday's been pretty good. And tomorrow I think we're gonna go on the road to Hana.
Friday, our last full day. My voice became like this from being in the islands too long. No, I must break free. Okay, my voice is slightly raspy, mainly from talking over people and noise at various bars and clubs and events. So, yeah, I have this going on for me, which will, carry on forever. But this is our last full day, and we're going out to breakfast, and then I don't know what. I think I'm going to go ahead and open up my Power Rangers Fury figure so that I don't have to have this packaging packed.
It's the end of the day Friday, and spent a lot of time at the beach and the pool, went down to downtown Lahaina, and got a pretty good burn last day. Managed to not get burned the entire time, and then today I am burned like a crispy burned burger. Anyway, going to a luau now.
You and I go on vacation at hotels. We tend to leave the privacy do not disturb tag on the door the entire time. And since we've been here for 7 days, housekeeping has tried to come in multiple times on each of these days. And every time they leave one of these little, hey, we tried to clean but couldn't because you had your privacy thing on, right there. And I kind of kick it. And so now at the end of the trip, we've got quite a little collection. Yes. It's Saturday morning. This is the last day in Hawaii. And it's not really a day. I woke up at 7:30. It's like a little before 8 now. Quick got ready, did all my packing last night. And now I'm heading to the rental car to drive it back to the place, to get them to drive me back here, to get a shuttle to drive me to the airport, to be in a plane to get home, to get driven home. So that's my last day in Hawaii. So it's not really a last day in Hawaii. It's just a travel day. And I'm ready to go home. I had a good time. The first couple days there's a little bit of boredom there, and it had me worried that I wasn't going to enjoy my trip. But once things got going and the work festivities started, and then we did some excursions with snorkeling, it was a lot of fun. But that being said, I got a sunburn, I puked, and I'm tired. And unlike Japan, where I was exhausted but wished I had more time, I'm okay. I'm ready to go home. I think it's possible I could come back to Hawaii another time, or if not Hawaii, another place with cool beaches. So there's not that sense of urgency of, oh my gosh, I might never see these things again. Couple that with, I did just go on a vacation, was barely home for a month, and I'm eager to get home and work, to clear some, client work off the table, and to really start driving at the horror and other personal stuff I need to take care of. So anyway, I guess this will probably be my last update from Hawaii. Although most of the updates I've given are like, hey, I'm walking in a parking lot, hey, I'm in my hotel room, because I don't like to take my camera to the beach, at least to my iPhone camera. Yeah, I'm still kind of tired. My voice once again is raspy from talking late all night with people. And I'm not really drinking, but they're up drinking, and it's still late and loud, so I sort of have a loud talking, stay up late hangover for a couple days now. Go. Monday, and I haven't gotten much productive done, either in client work, housework, or the horror whatsoever. I've been running around being a birthday elf for Q, because it's her birthday today, so I'll make sure everything's ready for her amazing celebrations tonight. I'm overstating things, but I have been running around doing like Scott circling. My phone just cut off because I got a phone call, which has never happened to me before. It was for marketing research because I had rented an enterprise rent-a-car while in Hawaii. And I completed that survey because I used to do marketing research, and they're not selling you anything, and it only took about 2 minutes, and hopefully that person gets some sort of credit. But the reason I decided to do this video, I'm at a mall I don't normally go to, and one of those cases where I remember I live in California. I've lived here for years, and for the most part, I don't notice the difference between living at, New Jersey, I would say at home. But then I get to a place like this where it's just wide open as far as the eye can see, and mountains in the background, and some palm trees, and just sky. And I'm like, oh yeah, I live in California. That's neat. I was intrigued by this new packaging I had not seen, and I was thinking I might pick up a figure. Then I saw the price. I'm at a Toys R Us Express outlet in the mall. This isn't a collector's place, so that's crazy to me. Then I looked up here, and it's not a bad price. It's like $4 or $5 a figure, but you have to buy 6, and there are not 6 that I want, so that's a weird marketing thing that I've never seen, so pass. It's Tuesday. Oh, I woke up a sleeping cat.
What's up, everyone? Today is Tuesday. I have to think about days and words. I was going to say it's me, Gazbot, but this is the end of a long list of me talking to you. So anyway, it's been over a week. I haven't sat down and crunched the numbers like I normally do. There was the Hawaii trip in the middle, which was about a week. Didn't get much work done. I got no work done other than thinking a little bit. Yesterday I was playing catch up on chores and housework, and it was Q's birthday, so we did stuff with that, which was fun. It's funny, we ended up, she had to work, we went out for sushi with some friends, and then we ended up going back to where she works to hang out, because there's like ping pong tables and a little snack bar and like an arcade and stuff, so we actually went back to her work to hang out for her birthday, but it was fun. So today, I didn't quite get back on the schedule that I've been laying out before about, the certain amount of hours for everything. I did okay, but I'm still kind of playing catch up on a few things that weren't allowing me to fully get back on schedule. However, one thing I prioritized was getting 2 hours done on the Horror A4, which I did. And most of that time was spent on the roughs for page 21. I messed around with page 20 a little bit, and I think I showed you where I was at before. I'm going to put up where I was at before and crossfade it to what I messed around with, mostly on the last panel. Put two little guys in the corner, but also I was trying to think of a way to obscure or obfuscate, as it were, the horror in his second appearance, but his first, full attacking appearance, because I didn't want it to be... I feel like I don't want to show him 100% yet. And what I've done is sort of a stopgap measure. I'm not 100% thrilled with it, but just to remind myself, put him in shadows, cover him up with smoke, do something so that he's menacing, but not super crystal clear. So anyway, I'll put those up and you can see what I'm talking about right here. Ba-da-ba. There it was. Okay, so that didn't take long. Most of it, like I said, was the roughs for the next page, page 21, which is, if you're keeping track, I think I have 24 pages this issue, chapter, whatever you want to call it. So 3 more pages of roughs, and then I'm on to just final art and temp lettering for the earlier pages. So progress being made, even if it's slower than I'd prefer. So I'm not thrilled with what I've got going on this page. I had the super rough thumbnails, and I've been tightening them up, put the dialogue in. Didn't have any real problems with the dialogue as I did on some of the earlier pages. Gonna have to do some sound effect stuff. I put all that in temp, and I got most of the page roughed out, and it works. But it's not dynamic enough, it's not perfect enough, and I had to resist the urge to keep redoing it and redoing it, because I could see this being one of those pages that takes me forever, which I did a lot on some of the earlier pages, to get it to where it's like, okay, it's almost ink ready, but I feel like the momentum I have getting to the end of the book, I'll be better served sort of taking a first pass, knowing that I'm going to have to readjust things, just to get to the end, and then go back to the beginning, start working through it again, and work out the problems when I get to it later. Which may or may not be the correct way to do it, may or may not be the way that would work for other people. Maybe not even me a week ago or a month from now, but where I am right now, I know myself well enough that I'm going to be in a better headspace and better positive movement emotionally and also logistically, whatever, if I just continue forward. So that's what I did. So I'll go ahead and show you the rough thumbnail and then the progress I made, which was a little bit under 2 hours today on this part of it. So there. And there you have it. So, kind of ending strong, even though the rest of this video was a little disjointed. And I also had a couple fun Hawaii videos, but I realized a lot of them were me in like a hotel room and stuff. But what are you going to do? It's not Japan. And speaking of Japan, I am working on the next Gazbot in Japan, which is day 3. It's crazy to me when I think I was there for 2 weeks. I'm like, I'll make a video a day. And I do still think that's the way to go, but it takes so long to just sift through everything I have and put it together. But I have a work in progress of the next one. Once again, check out all the other hundreds doing it. I'm not going to list them out by name and call them out, but there's a lot of the old guard doing it, a lot of new people doing it. One day I'll sit down and catch up on all of them. I thought it was hard before, but it just gets harder and harder. And I love it. I love that there's all these new people, some of which I only know by name and haven't even looked at their work, some of which I've watched some of their work but never interacted with. And then, of course, the old guard like Kevin Cross and Johannes Wick and all those guys still plugging along. So I'm really happy about that, and I encourage you to check them out and to do one yourself if you're so inclined. Meanwhile, I'm going to wrap it up. Hopefully, you can see it's daytime, although it's like 6, 7 o'clock. It's getting towards the end of the day. I hope to have this up tonight or tomorrow morning, and then I'll start a fresh round of videos, and I anticipate the next production update to be more updated in my production. One final thought, I try to avoid playing video games because they're a huge time sink, but I do like video games, and occasionally one gets through. One I've been playing lately on Steam is called Chroma Squad. It was recommended to me by a friend, then a website that I go to often, and then another friend, and then another friend. So I had to play it. It was only $15 on Steam, and it's an 8-bit, like sort of a Power Rangers Sentai analog, but you play like stunt people in a studio starting your own new show. And it has a kind of Final Fantasy feel to it. It's all like text and 8-bit and turn-based strategy. So I like the gameplay, and it's kind of comedy and it's fun. And if you enjoy any of those things, why not check it out? I realize I recommend a lot of stuff like I'm doing commercials, but it's not like I get kickback or anything from any of this stuff. So if anybody, hey, Chroma Squad, want to sponsor me? I was going to get that finger, but it got away. So, well, here's a little taste of the Japanese theme song, just to give you a rough idea of the feel you're going to be going for with Chroma Squad! Argo! That's the transformation henshin shout-out I gave to my team. You could customize it however you want. So Beam Argo is what the Laser Riders, which is my team, say. Anyway, as I said, I'm going to close this out. More horror coming at you next time. More A4 coming at you next time. More pointing at the camera coming at you this time. Right here, as promised, delivering